Well, here we are, Wednesday, the 19th of April. Holy cow, have we got problems all across the globe? All kinds of problems here in the United States. Nothing looks great. So, what can we do about it? Where can we do? How can we protect our portfolios? This isn't going to be a long video, but I want to get right to this, and let's talk about what we're looking at here, and let's just talk about what we can do. What literally can we do to protect our portfolios? And I'm going to tell you that there's all kinds of trouble in some of the northern states. So if you're in Chicago or Seattle or Portland, certainly San Francisco. Let me get to my very first slide here so we can get this up and running. Look what's happening in San Francisco. So San Francisco itself, people are leaving. And of course, a lot has to do with the fact that you can now work remote. And if you work remote, there's no reason for you to go to the office anymore. However, what we're looking at is that we're having vacancy left and right. Everywhere you look, you have vacancy. San Francisco is in deep trouble. So there's 29.4% of all office buildings in San Francisco are vacant. You know, if you ran 10 or 12%, well, that wouldn't be good, but it wouldn't be the end of the world. It'd be running almost 30% vacant with another 6% that's available for a total of 35% of existing office space available. That is just like a disaster in the making. And this is all over. We're hearing problems in Los Angeles, Seattle, certainly in New York City. Chicago is going to, if you haven't heard problems in Chicago, you are going to, with all the problems that they're having socially there. You know that companies are going to bail out of there. So let me go to my very first slide. So if you're in Chicago, Milwaukee, Minneapolis, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Seattle, Portland, New York, New Jersey, or Washington, D.C., these are on my list of problem areas. I don't mean to denigrate the cities. It's just that if you are invested in these properties or in these areas and these cities, your properties may very well be at risk, and it would be time for you to start thinking, well, what am I going to do? Where am I going to go? First off, you have to make that decision. This is a very, very difficult decision. You probably want to talk to your spouse, business managers, and of course your financial planners. But you probably have had this on your forethought for a while. I mean, with all the problems that we're going into in Chicago. And I'm going to tell you that my economic model is just rolling right along. We've been predicting a recession. It looks like we're going to enter into it. I noticed today, well, we'll talk about it. I'm getting a little ahead of myself because I do have a slide for that. We've got layoffs coming. You know, this is going right along with our recession call. You know what happens with recessions is that you start slowly and then all of a sudden they start to accelerate, and then it becomes very, very evident. Well, you know that we've had another 7,000 people are going to be laid off with Disney, and Facebook is going to be laying off another 10,000. That is in addition to the 170,000 that have already been laid off in the last 3.5 months of 2023. So a lot of high-paying jobs are going away. And this does not bode well at all for going forward on it. Let me go to my next slide because I think this one is the telling one. Look at this is what I just saw, and I think this is probably one of the trigger points for me. Is that if you're an auto dealership or a used car lot, you use financing floor plans from big lenders, Capital One, Ally Financial, and of course Wells Fargo. These are the big ones. They give you the capital and the credit lines with which to run your business. These three have announced that they are leaving that space. So in the next 3 or 4 weeks, the dealers are going to have to either replace them or go out of business or go on their own capital. And of course, most of these places don't have their own capital. They're financed, and this is going to cause major problems. So it's going to have a huge disruption. And this all goes back to the fact we've been talking about liquidity. If you've been following my work, that liquidity is just being dried up all through the system, all through the world. And of course, if you've only got so much capital to put out, you're going to be very, very particular where you put that capital, because you certainly don't want to take a chance on losing any. So we know that underwriting is going away, and they're pulling back their credit lines from areas that they're concerned about. And auto dealerships and used car lots are certainly going to have a problem. And we've been talking about commercial space for a long time. Now, we've been talking about if we're going to invest in single family homes. We're not investing in businesses and commercial spots. So, we're not looking at any office space. So this goes right along with our theme. We're being very, very conservative. Now, you're going to have to make a decision where to go. And I'm going to tell you, a lot of these places just don't look good. So Chicago certainly would be at risk. I mean, this would be a place, if you've got a business there, Walmart, for goodness sakes, is starting to leave. Target's having problems, or Walgreens, CVS. All these places are really rethinking whether they should even be there. And of course, if you're going to close down, or if you've got investments, where on earth do you go? Because you need to make sure that you've got some stability. I'm going to tell you that I hear all my clients. We're right next door to California, so we get a lot of people saying, "My goodness, it's difficult to do business in Los Angeles, in California, in Sacramento, San Francisco, Silicon Valley." We have a lot of people leaving Silicon Valley, coming here to Arizona, Phoenix Metro, of course. We got 40 startups alone here in Phoenix going right now. And you know what's funny is that we're just as smart here in Metro Phoenix as they are in Silicon Valley, but you can get it done for like 10-20% of what it costs you in Silicon Valley. It's pretty interesting. However, we're talking about the northern cities of Chicago, New York, Milwaukee. These places are at risk. We're going to be going into a recession. It's going to get worse where you're at. So what do you do? So I'm going to suggest, I'm going to ring my own bell here, but Florida is certainly a place that you have to consider. Texas would certainly be a place for you to consider. But Arizona is actually adding jobs here. Now, Maricopa County, where Phoenix, Scottsdale, Gilbert, Peoria, this is one of the biggest growth areas in the United States. Maricopa County, which encompasses all this, it has been for the last 10 years the leader on in-migration. And again, for 2022, Phoenix Metro, or Maricopa County, was the number one in the United States. And I think we had 56,000 people come into Maricopa County. It's very, very difficult to do that. It's just that there's so much growth going here, and people are leaving. If you're having problems in California, or you're having problems in Portland or Seattle, and you're going to go somewhere, you want to go somewhere you think the future is going to be secure. So let me just do I'm going to ring our own bell here and tell you what's going on. We have finally just finished the expressways here in Maricopa County, and we've known for a really long time where these at. The 303, the Wall Street Journal just did a video on the 303. Just the growth is just phenomenal. I think we have 17 or 20 different warehouses right now. They have over 1 million square feet that are under construction. You can't get one of these pads because they're all sold, and everybody wants to develop here. And I'm going to tell you, so Maricopa County has a decades-long bull market in real estate here. So when I say decades long, I'm talking about 20 or 30 years of expansion. Some of our surveys are saying that our population will double in the next 10 to 20 years. And of course, that means that we get lots and lots of growth. But we're a very business-friendly environment here in Maricopa County. We just reduced our capital gains and Arizona tax from 4.6 to 2.5% because we had a surplus on our taxes here. So we actually have extra money, and we reduce what you pay. So it's very, very business-friendly here. And I'm going to tell you, let me just go to my next slide, and I'll tell you what's going on. We actually had one of the largest builders in Arizona, or actually in the country, D.R. Horton, bought 270 square miles of parcels of land, and they're going to develop it. It's bigger than the cities of Mesa, Gilbert, Tempe, and Chandler combined. That these builders and developers do all of the research ahead of time. They just know that we're going to have incredible growth here, and they're buying for the future. And that means that the East Valley is going to explode. But look what's going on here. We just connected to 202. We have growth like crazy. This is decades-long growth that if you want to move your stuff from Chicago or Milwaukee or Madison and bring it here to Phoenix, Arizona, I think you're going to do very, very well here. So you can do a 1031 exchange, and we can avoid some of the tax implications here. And I think you'd be very, very happy. And I think you're going to get out of a problem right into something that'll be a solution for you. So the 202 is great. Look at this next slide. This is what we're talking about. The Wall Street Journal did a documentary on the 303. It's only 4.5 minutes. You can take a look at it. It's called the Miracle 17 Miles. But Amazon's there, Dick's Sporting Goods there, UPS, Ball, Red Bull, Wolf Sub-Zero just opened up another plant there. It is just incredible the amount of business that's going on there. It's real close to Luke Air Force Base where you have the F-35. And look what else is going on there. So we now had a Taiwan Semiconductor Corporation was building 8 chip plants there. It was a $10 to $12 billion facility. They've now announced that they're going to quadruple that facility to between $40 and $50 billion. It's no longer going to be 8 chip plants. It's going to be 32 semiconductor plants, 32 chip plants. And now there's going to be supporting plants that aren't part of Taiwan that are going to start selling chips to Taiwan to start making them even bigger. And there's 4 chip plants already that are under construction to support this chip plant. And of course, that brings in jobs, thousands and thousands of high-paying jobs, skilled manufacturing jobs, electronics. We have software engineers. Just a great vision, and it's going to bring just billions and billions and billions of dollars of revenue. So it's a great place. This is probably one of the best places in the entire country, probably the world, for you to invest. It's safe. We have good transportation, good schools, fabulous climate. Now, also on top of that, the BNSF Railroad just was awarded another 3,500 acres to add to their 500 acres. They have 4,000 acres that they're going to make for an intermodal transportation hub. They're bringing in rail, they're bringing in roads, they're going to bring in freight, and they're going to hire thousands and thousands and thousands of workers. And of course, this brings jobs. Jobs brings development, and it brings growth, and it brings great investment opportunities. I'm telling you, if you're in these cities at risk, bring your capital here. We'll do a 1031 exchange. We'll work together to make a reason for you to do this. We'll make a plan and an exit plan for you. And you can come here to Maricopa County, where you can play golf 365 days out of the year. It has sunshine 330 days out of the year. It's business friendly. We've got a great climate. We got great transportation, great schools. Your workers can live in a really good neighborhood, send their kids to school, and they can set down roots. You'll have a really, really good workforce. We would love you to come here. You're welcome to reach me. I'm more than happy to sit and talk with you and see what this works for you. You can reach me here at 602-942-4200. I'm with West USA. They do our compliance and our back office works, but we're more than happy to sit down and talk with you. If we can help in any way, please give me a call. My very, very best to you. Bye-bye now.